Today's story is shaking the world. A massive strike has hit the Crimea Bridge, and Russia's response has already begun. What just happened is not only a military escalation, it's a political earthquake that could change the direction of this entire war. So sit back, because what you're about to hear is the full breakdown of one of the most dramatic and dangerous moments of this conflict so far. It all began in the early hours of the morning. The Crimea Bridge, also known as the Kerch Bridge, was suddenly rocked by multiple explosions. Witnesses described a massive fireball lighting up the night sky. The echoes of the blast could be heard miles away as parts of the bridge collapsed into the dark waters below. Videos soon started circulating online, showing thick black smoke, twisted metal, and burning vehicles. For Russia, this bridge isn't just a structure, it's a symbol. The connection between mainland Russia and the Crimean Peninsula, which Moscow annexed back in 2014. It's the pride of Putin's infrastructure projects, built at a cost of billions and opened with huge celebration. So when it comes under attack, it's not just an act of sabotage, it's an attack on Russian prestige itself. Within minutes of the explosion, Russian state media went silent. Then came the official statement. Russia called it a terrorist act, blaming Ukrainian forces for the assault. Security forces were placed on high alert. Fighter jets were seen patrolling the skies over Crimea, and the Black Sea Fleet reportedly moved into combat readiness. The tone from Moscow was furious and defiant. Ukraine has always played it carefully. Officials neither confirmed nor denied responsibility, but social media told a different story. Ukrainian pages were full of cryptic posts, bridges, fire emojis, and subtle hints of celebration. Many Ukrainians see this bridge as an illegitimate connection to occupied territory, and they believe its destruction is fair game in their fight for liberation. But make no mistake, Russia's response has already begun. Within hours of the strike, missiles were launched towards several Ukrainian cities. Explosions were reported in Kyiv, Odessa, and Kharkiv. The targets appeared to be energy infrastructure and military facilities. It was a message from Moscow. Any attack on Russian soil, or what it considers Russian soil, will be met with overwhelming force. The tension is at its highest point in months. Russian channels are calling for vengeance. Commentators are demanding total retaliation. Some are even calling for strikes on Ukraine's leadership. Putin himself made a rare public appearance, calling the incident an act of aggression orchestrated by Kyiv with Western support. His words were calm but filled with controlled rage. Behind the scenes, military analysts say this could trigger a new phase of escalation. The bridge has already been attacked before. In 2022, a truck bomb caused severe damage, but this time the scale is bigger, the precision more sophisticated. It suggests careful planning and perhaps even new weaponry. Satellite images show that key support pillars have been destroyed, making the bridge partially unusable for now. For Ukraine, this is more than a symbolic strike. The Crimea Bridge is Russia's main supply route to the southern front. Tanks, ammunition, fuel, all of it travels through that connection. Disrupting it weakens Russia's logistics and limits its ability to resupply its troops in occupied regions. In simple terms, it's a strategic choke point. Western officials are watching closely. Washington, London, and Brussels have all expressed concern about escalation, but they also reaffirmed Ukraine's right to defend its territory. No one in the West officially endorses attacks on Russian infrastructure, but behind closed doors, many see this as a significant blow to Russia's war machine. Meanwhile, Russian social media is in chaos. Some citizens are angry, demanding stronger action. Others are quietly questioning how such a heavily guarded structure could be hit again, despite all the promises of protection. The Kremlin is trying to control the narrative, censoring certain videos and blocking independent media reports. But the images are already everywhere. It's impossible to hide the truth. As night fell after the attack, reports came in that Russian drones and missiles were again flying toward Ukraine. Air raid sirens wailed across major cities. Civilians rushed to shelters. It was clear that this was not just a military counterattack. It was psychological warfare designed to remind Ukraine of Russia's reach and power. Still, morale in Ukraine remains defiant. People on the streets of Kyiv say they are proud of their defenders, calling the attack on the bridge justice for months of bombardment. They see it as proof that Russia's grip on Crimea is weakening. The symbolism is powerful. The bridge that once represented annexation is now a burning reminder of resistance. Experts say this attack may force Russia to reroute supplies through longer, more vulnerable paths. That means slower logistics, more pressure on the front lines, and increased costs. For Ukraine's military, that's an advantage. Every delay for Russia translates into more opportunities on the battlefield. However, this also raises serious risks. If Russia feels cornered, it could intensify its strikes on Ukrainian cities. There's even talk that Moscow might use the attack as justification to strike deeper into Ukrainian territory, perhaps even targeting decision-making centers. The international community is bracing for what comes next. The United Nations has called for restraint. While NATO intelligence monitors Russian troop movements closely, some fear that Russia could use the incident to rally domestic support and justify further mobilization. State television is already portraying it as a direct attack from the West, feeding the narrative that Russia is under siege inside the Kremlin. Security meetings have been non-stop. Military commanders, intelligence chiefs, and government ministers are crafting the response strategy. Sources close to Moscow claim that retaliatory operations are already underway, with special forces being deployed to Crimea to hunt down those who may have assisted in the attack. Meanwhile, Russian cyber units have reportedly launched a new wave of digital offensives targeting Ukrainian infrastructure, government websites, and media outlets. The hybrid warfare component is in full swing. Physical strikes combined with cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns. The situation is now a test of endurance. Russia cannot afford to appear weak, especially after previous embarrassments. The bridge's repeated targeting sends a message to both sides: nowhere is truly safe. For Putin, it's a direct challenge to his authority. For Ukraine, it's a statement of capability. In the broader picture, this also sends ripples across the Black Sea region. Shipping routes could be disrupted, oil prices may rise again due to fears of instability, and neighboring countries like Turkey and Romania are on alert, worried that the conflict could spill closer to their borders. The bridge itself remains, partially standing, but the damage is severe. Engineers are racing to assess the structural integrity. While drones continue to monitor the skies, Russian officials have promised to rebuild quickly, but experts say repairs could take months. Each day the bridge is out of service is another logistical nightmare for Moscow's forces in the south. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials hint that this is just the beginning. The bridge should not exist, one advisor tweeted. Every illegal structure on Ukrainian land will eventually fall. Those words send a chilling message. The war may be moving toward Crimea itself. That's something Russia cannot allow. The peninsula is more than just a military base. It's a symbol of national pride. Losing control there would be catastrophic for Moscow politically and psychologically, which is why analysts warn that the next few days could see an unprecedented response from Russia, perhaps even targeting Western-supplied weapons or intelligence centers around the world. Leaders are calling for calm, but beneath the diplomatic language, there's growing realization that this conflict has reached a new threshold. The bridge strike isn't just another battle. It's a statement that the war's front lines are shifting and the stakes are higher than ever. Civilians on both sides are suffering. Families in Crimea are fleeing areas near the bridge. Fearing more strikes in Ukraine, people brace for new waves of missile attacks. Power outages, communication blackouts, and constant air raid alerts are becoming a grim routine once again. As the dust settles, one question echoes across the world. What happens next? Will this lead to direct confrontation between Russia and NATO? Will Ukraine push further into occupied territory? Or will diplomacy find a way to stop this chain of escalation before it spirals out of control? Right now, no one knows. What's certain is that both nations are digging in deeper. Russia vows revenge, Ukraine vows liberation, and the bridge stands as a burning symbol between two worlds that seem further apart than ever. Every explosion on that bridge reverberates beyond the battlefield. It shakes economies, politics, and global security. It reminds everyone how fragile peace really is, and how quickly it can vanish in a flash of fire and steel. As this story continues to unfold, the world watches, anxious, uncertain, and aware that each decision made in Moscow or Kyiv could echo for generations. This is not just about one bridge. It's about power, pride, and the future of a region caught between war and survival. The strike on the Crimea Bridge has reopened the darkest chapters of this war. And Russia's response, already in motion, may determine not just the next phase of the conflict, but the fate of millions who live beneath its shadow. The world now holds its breath as two forces move toward another collision. History is being written in real time, with smoke rising above the waters of the Black Sea. The bridge burns, the guns roar, and once again, humanity stands at the edge of another turning point. Because in the end, every act of war is a message, and this one is louder than ever. The message is clear. This war is far from over, and the next move could change everything. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay informed. And remember, in times like these, truth is as valuable as peace itself. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes on the world that's changing before us.